Hello and welcome to Aniki Nikki, the podcast from Japan about stuff from Japan. I'm your Aniki Pato, and today I'm joined by series regular Paul.
Yeah.
Hello, Paul.
Oh man, it's nice to be a regular again.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, tell me about it.
We're on 13 episodes.
Whew.
Exciting.
Yeah.
I read a statistic recently that most podcasts don't make it past episode 7. So we're in the top 30% of podcasts ever or something like that. So
I'll take it.
Yeah. Little victories, right?
Indeed. Nice.
Speaking of little victories, how about summer 2018 anime?
It's
right?
It's shaping up to be a I'm more impressed with it than I think any of us were when we did the initial preview for it.
Yeah, definitely. We talked about it a little bit in the preview episode where we're like, well, there's a lot of stuff that I'm try watching, but I'm not really like super sold on anything. But I was definitely surprised by a lot of the stuff that I did end up watching in both ways, in a good way and a bad way. So.
Oh yeah, totally.
So what do you think? So we'll talk about the little format, I guess, for today's episode. We're going to talk about some of the big surprises, not necessarily a review of the shows so far, but shows that surprised us in one way or the other. So, What do you think, Paul? What was We'll go back and forth. I think we were we talked a little bit about this. Sorry, little man behind the curtain action there, but
a little pregame podcast.
It's really hard to be like, oh, we talk every day, and then, oh man, this is so interesting. Wait, don't say anything. We should talk about it on the podcast. But I think we're doing a pretty good job so far.
Yeah, no, I think we're doing really well. I mean, I know we talked about 3 shows. I think we'll talk about together. But I mean, are you asking me if? I think we're watching different stuff too. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
So there's a couple that I'm watching. I know that you're not, and then there's a couple you're watching that I know I'm not. But I think my first, I don't think you're watching this one, but the first one that I'm surprised with so far that I've just stuck with has been that Mongol invasion show. The Angolmois, I don't even know how you say it. Like it's the Genko Kasenki or whatever. It's the basically it's like the Mongol invasion of Japan in like the 1200s or 1300s or wherever they're at. That show has been surprisingly entertaining.
Really?
Yeah, it has. There's a cool opening song that's not bad. The story's been pretty intriguing. I mean, it's just obviously your totally super exaggerated, dramatized like Mongol invasion of Japan. But I mean, I could see I think there's some history there, obviously, because I mean that did actually happen. I mean, not in this sense, but you kind of have in this show the way they present it. I mean, I don't know, it's interesting. The only thing that bothers me, and I think I mentioned it before in our Discord, was that they just put this like filter over, like they put like
you mentioned that.
They put like a wrinkled paper filter over everything, and it's like, wow, like you don't need to do that, guys. But I don't know. It's been a good show. It's like super. It's like just super like there's a lot of like action and like gory stuff, like not really like super detailed, but like a lot of violence in there, like more than I thought there was going to be. And I know like we kind of panned over that on the preview, but I mean that's been a show it's been keeping my attention at least.
Yeah, like they don't need to remind you that it's historical with a paper filter over everything, right?
I think that's what they're trying to do. It's like, oh, look at this old show we found. Like, no, like that's the season, but yeah.
Look at this show I found in my grandpa's attic. Just coincidence. It was released yesterday.
Yeah.
I think Jordan is still watching that too.
I think
he mentioned it early on.
Yeah.
And he seemed to be pleased with it. So well, I have not watched it, mostly because it's not on any of my services. Actually, I changed phone providers recently, and it canceled my anime account, so I've been just watching through Amazon Prime now. Which means I'm only missing like 2 series, but to be honest, I didn't really mind giving up either of them, so I'll talk about that later. But But unfortunately, Anglo Moi or whatever is not on Amazon Prime, as far as I know. It might be. Maybe I just missed it on the thing, but
I do have the chart up. I don't think, from what I can tell, it doesn't look like it's like any kind of major studio or anything like that. So yeah, it's probably not going to get that kind of release. But I mean, you know, I don't know. It's, it's on par with most of the stuff we're watching, I think.
I don't know, man. I mean, Dagashi Gashi 2 is on Amazon Prime, so there you go.
But that's like Studio, isn't it Studio Dean or something like that? Like
yeah, it's a big studio, even if it was a net animation.
The studio is like Naz, N-A-Z. It's all caps. I've never heard of it, but I mean...
No idea about that one. Well, that's interesting. That was one that we hadn't really talked about outside of, like, you mentioned the paper filter thing.
Right.
So that's a good thing to hear about. Mm-hmm. I guess, for me, let's talk about, like, personal surprising things. I'm actually going to go with a disappointing thing. And for me, it was Tonegawa, middle manager Tonegawa. I was really bummed out about this show because I love Kaiji.
Yep.
I love Akagi. I love everything by Fukumoto.
Yeah.
I'm not as familiar as some of my friends who, you know, will most assuredly be lining me like, how dare you talk about knowing anything about Fukumoto? But, I think, you know, I mentioned it privately, and I talked to a lot of friends about this, but the announcer, the narrator, just really grinds on me. I talked about it with Steve in the second children's episode, actually, where the guy that does the narrator voice in Tonegawa is actually the star of a children's TV show as well.
I remember that.
But he does it in this like joke way. Like he's narrating like it's all a joke. And I just really would have preferred if they had kept the previous narrator, or at least got someone like serious. It doesn't have to be the exact same guy, but and then the composer was like arrested for marijuana or something as well. So I don't know if he was arrested or if he's just like disgraced, but he's not in it either. So a lot of the Japanese reviews of it are like, how can you have a Kaiji series without this guy? Like he makes it. And they definitely like it also feels like they changed like the audio director or the sound effects director, because the way they use zawas and stuff is really different, and it's kind of like jarring. Man. So yeah, it was really disappointing for me. I actually gave it up because, like I said, it was on my old program, but it's not on Amazon Prime, and I just didn't really like it enough to go and search for it anywhere else. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I know basically more or less what happens, and because, you know, it leads into Kaiji, so.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, it's really irritating when you have this, like, super serious stuff going on, and he's like, oh, like,
oh man.
Like, that's how he narrates. He's like.
Yeah, I mean,
he's like, Tonegawa ga sagashite ita idea! Like, okay. Stop, dude. Like,
it's like a comic, every time he says relief thing, or...
It's supposed to be, I think, but it ends up being more jarring than anything.
Yeah, it falls flat. Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of the people I talk to have kind of like validated my feelings on that, so I feel better afterwards. Like, it's one of those guys, one of those super Fukumoto guys. It's like, yeah, you can do like serious and it's funny, or you can do funny and it's funny, but like this mixture of funny serious is just not working. I think if it was the first in the series, it would probably work pretty well. Yeah. But when you already have the establishment of this like over-the-top drama with this over-the-top drama voice, and then you switch it to this like wacky zany voice, it's just different. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Just my opinion anyway. So that was a super big bummer for me. So let's talk about the ones that we both love, that are we can't stop talking about and linking screenshots and stuff.
You know, I was thinking about this before, and I think each of these shows, the three shows we're going to talk about, I'm pretty sure in the preview, we were kind of like, oh, I don't know about this show. Like this show seems stupid.
Yeah, we did.
Like every single
actually.
one. And now these are the ones that have, I think that have popped out and now we really love them. So I think that was funny.
Yeah. Well, let's start with Banana Fish.
Okay.
Because after our Super Aniki Nikki episode, one of my friends, who always gives me his thoughts on the show because he's a really nice guy, he was like, you don't know about Banana Fish? It's like, the manga is like legendary.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Oh, no, I mean, I feel like I've heard the name before. Like, I've definitely heard the name before, but that's it. So I looked into it a little bit, and I was reading the reviews for it. Luckily, this was actually only on Amazon Prime as far as streaming services in Japan go. So I was reading the reviews, and a lot of people, it was like all 5 stars or all 1 stars, and it was all from people who had already read the manga. There was no one that was like, well, this show looked weird, so I tried it, and it turned out to be really good, or I clicked on this show not knowing what to expect, and it was bad. It was all like, I've read every chapter of the manga, and I have it in multiple versions, and I can tell you, as a Banana Fish connoisseur, this show is the greatest thing to ever happen, or this show is absolute shit. Like, that's it. There's like no in between.
Naturally.
So I read a really, really long, thoughtful review from one guy where he was like, I watched like maybe 2 episodes or something at this point. And there was only 3 episodes or 4 episodes out at the time even. So it's funny that you can even start giving reviews, but whatever.
Right.
So he basically is like, hey, Banana Fish, anime, and manga are separate beasts, and that's okay. Like, I understand why they changed the setting from Vietnam to Iraq, and, I don't care that they have smartphones and that the character designs are like way, way, way different, because in the end, it still captures like the essence of what the manga was about. So, I read that and I was like, huh, okay. I know a lot of people who are like, yeah, I watched 2 episodes of Banana Fish and then I went and read every chapter of the manga in like 2 days. I was like, oh, okay. But I mean, it wasn't really what we were expecting, right? I mean,
Well, no,
I didn't know what to expect because it was like,
I remember
dude is abused by old man.
I remember specifically you read that description and you're like, oh, I don't know if this is something I'd watch.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm all for a little BL, but like the series, the description of that was really, really far different from what I was expecting. So
yeah, and it's like I know the manga is older. It's like an 80s manga, right? So I was just thinking that too. Like wow, like I was reading the description again. I'm like, Iraq, like wait, but in the 80s, like that wasn't going on yet. So I definitely notice like it when I'm watching the show, like how they've kind of just updated everything. Like the cars are new, like obviously they have smartphones and things like that. Like, the dude has a computer that's modern. So yeah, I mean, I think they've done a really good job of the show. I know you said too before, like, I think in the first couple of episodes, they like condensed like, what was it? Like 100, 200 chapters or something like that.
yeah, that's what I've been told. Yeah.
I mean, but like, it's still pretty good. Like at the end of every episode, I'm just like, I want more of this. Like what happens next? And I don't think I've seen a show like that in a long time that I'm just like, wow, like I really need to know what happens now.
Yeah. And I'm so super excited that they made this an actual 24 episode thing.
Oh, it is. Yeah. I'm looking again.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So that makes me super happy too.
Yeah.
Great.
And I think, I talked about this with Flora a little bit, but it's brought up always in the terms of being a yaoi BL thing, but like, at least the anime version, it's kind of like everybody's gay, but including the people who aren't gay, except it doesn't really matter for the story.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's not a centralized thing. It's like, you're not. it's not shoving that in your face every second. Like, oh yeah, these guys are gay. Like, didn't you know? Like, it's just, they just carry on. And I mean, I think because of the circumstance of all the characters, I mean, that's kind of like a natural, I think, thing in the story that comes up. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely not what I thought it was going to be, going by the description. Yeah. And I mean, I'm definitely pleasantly surprised. It's a really mature, really entertaining series. And yeah, I mean, I'm really glad that it's going to be a full season.
Yeah, I haven't actually watched, episode 8 yet because the last, what was it? The end of episode 7. Like really hurt me.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't want to do this right now, and I just haven't found the strength to to watch it yet. It was so upsetting.
I was I felt the same, but I did watch 8, so I am current, and not as bad as I thought it was going to be. But yeah, I mean, it's still going along with the story. So I mean, whatever that means to you.
that makes me feel good then.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna watch it eventually, but
yeah, I'm probably gonna watch it today. Actually,
but I had the same feeling. I was like, oh god, like what? I'm like, am I gonna be depressed now? And I mean, I wasn't, but I mean, it wasn't. I don't know, it wasn't the best outcome, obviously, in the next episode. But I mean, it's trucking along, so it's good.
All right. Well, I mean, I think everyone in our group, involved in Aniki Nikki loves Banana Fish so far.
Yeah.
I feel like there's not a day goes by where someone doesn't banana fish emote, so that's a good sign.
Yeah, true.
So let's move on to how about what do you want to talk about? What's your, besides banana fish, of our other two obvious picks? Which one do you like?
Oh, which other one on the side here? So I'm watching a lot more shows this season than I thought I would be. Obviously. The next two we're going to talk about, obviously are the top, but I'm watching, if I go down my list here, one show that I am watching that I've been sticking with has been, that Grand Blue show.
Oh, really?
So it's basically like, I know from the description, like it just seems like this blah, just stupid anime. And honestly, it kind of is. But it's kind of like, if they took, like your standard like comedy slice of life and just, I don't know, put it in college. Like, so basically like it seems like a really niche kind of show. Like, so Grand Blue, it's all these like guys they're in college and they're in a diving club. Like they go scuba diving, and Grand Blue is the name of a shop that they all hang out at, the diving shop. And like, it's just basically like, all the club members, and then it's like a couple characters that have never dived before, and they're just kind of like sucked into this club just because I guess they had no other option. It's really like vulgar. Like a lot of them drink all the time. Like the club members like just get naked all the time and stuff like that. It's just kind of a really like just a really stupid like meathead kind of show. But for some reason I keep watching it because some of it's actually kind of funny. I mean, if you don't take it too seriously and you watch it, you're kind of like, okay, like it keeps me entertained for, that 24 minutes. And, it's been something I throw on because like, I think it comes out like in the middle of the week. So it's not too bad to watch, but that's been one show that's been keeping me entertained. I think that's a 12 episode. It's like on episode 8, I think is the next one. So it's almost done, but, it's not too bad.
Yeah. Well, that sounds more interesting than like I sometimes I want a dumb show.
Yeah.
That's just kind of vulgar and stuff. So
well, I was gonna say it's not gonna win any awards. Like it's not gonna be on anyone's like top 10 list or anything like that. But it's just like I don't know. I think some of these shows are definitely like good fun filler shows that you watch in between all the shows you actually want to watch, and it turns out it's not too bad.
That's how I feel about Haruka no Receive, the beach volleyball one. It's like it's not bad, but it's definitely not good. It's very tropey.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's actually not as like ecchi as they could have made it if they really wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's the only show ever where Flora, she always says, "Oh no, those two girls, they're just friends. There's no feelings there." I think this is the only show where Flora would be right. Like,
Okay.
It is just about ladies being friends with each other and playing volleyball.
That's okay. Yeah.
Not like Hanebada, where there's like some really deep-seated... I don't even know.
I'm looking at the list here. That is one show that I'm still watching, and I
am not.
I know, and it's really like I like it, but I don't know why. It's getting super weird. Like some of these girls are really weird as characters. But I mean, I don't know. Like I just want to see what happens, I guess.
Well, I'm willing to go back to it if you finish it and tell me that it was worth it.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see about that.
So, back burner.
Uh-huh.
So I'm gonna go another one, and you know, I don't know. Within some circles of my friends, I'm known as like a person that hates everything.
Uh-huh.
I'm really hypercritical on stuff because I like it.
Uh-huh.
I'm just that kind of person. So I'm gonna talk about another one that I'm really bummed out about.
Okay.
Well, should I do that?
Well, I know you mentioned there was a couple you were done with.
I'm bummed out about everything in life. So I'm going to talk about one that I liked right now, which was actually one that I've been really, really enjoying, and one of the first things that I find myself like watching when I look at my list is Kyoto Teramachi Sanja no Homes.
Oh, that show. I haven't seen that.
Yeah, it's actually really good. It looked like it was going to be this kind of like shoujo romance show about her and Holmes, but it's not. It's actually kind of a nice light mystery show. It's an episodic thing. There's like one mini plot that links a couple episodes together, but for the most part, it's all one and dones. There's probably going to be like the last 3 episodes or something are one big thing. That's usually what they do with these kind of shows, but it's really good because they don't try to force the romance of the 2 main characters. I feel like she's like kind of into him, but he just really views her as a platonic friend, and she's okay with that. Like she's not doing that whole like, oh, I love him so much, what am I going to do? They actually kind of like help each other get over their previous issues with love and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's very clearly like a shoujo manga, but sometimes you need a shoujo manga, you know?
I agree. Definitely.
And it's a really neat kind of, oh man, I'm just looking at the reviews for it, and people are just killing it. Like, it's lots of people hate it.
I mean, I think this is another show that, like we probably panned over, and I guess I can see that.
I don't know. I actually like it. I'm really liking it. Oh yeah, this guy's like, it's a great show to not think about and just phase out through. Okay. Well, one of the things that really grabs me by it is I really love the opening and the ending, because they're these kind of like rocky sounding songs, but I guess like pop rocky sounding songs, but mixed in with Japanese traditional instruments. So it has a really neat, kind of reminiscent of Naruto's opening, or not opening, but actual background music, where they'd have like these like electric guitars going alongside pan flutes and stuff. It was really cool. So anyway, I really like it. I would suggest anyone give it a few episodes anyway.
I'll have to see them. I'll have to check it out.
So moving on, let's talk about the 2 that we both really like. So how about we'll start with the Asobi Asabase. Man, Dark Horse, right? Like,
yeah, for real. I remember like specifically like this, because it was one of the first shows like on the preview, and we're just like, nah, this show seems stupid. It's about hand games. Like, what?
Yeah, hand games? What even is that?
And
like,
it's become much more than that, right?
Yeah. I love that this is one show where they embraced the weirdness in a good way. Kind of like Azumanga Daioh or Nichijou or something like that, where it gets really out of control, but like not in a bad way.
Mm-hmm.
Not in a desperate way, I guess you could say.
It's all pretty like organic, like in the show.
Yeah.
Like it just kind of all flows pretty well, I feel.
And just like for episodes like 3 to 7 or whatever, just everything had me rolling on the floor laughing. Like the stuff with Maida, when the teacher talks to the friend and she's like, "Oh yeah, I have a girl that sounds great for your club," and she sends over the girl that's in like all Ganguro makeup, and they're like, "I bet she's stupid," and she's like, "Oh, I'm like second in my class. I don't even study. Like, if you listen in class, that's enough. Like, right?" And they're like, "Oh my god, I hate her." Their over the top reactions are so good.
Are you? Were you current on this?
I have one episode to go, I believe.
God. So, like, episode 9 is going to be the one coming up, and I just watched episode 8, and they just throw the parodies they throw in there. I mean, like, they just came out of nowhere, and they just nailed them. Like, there's it's basically one of the games they have is that they like challenge each other to like go up to a teacher and like act out certain characters, and that I was just anybody who watches any sort of anime is gonna get it, but I was just dying. Like I haven't like this and Chio, like I don't remember laughing this much at it, like any sort of anime for a long time, and they're just super funny. One thing I really like about this and Chio as well, I'm sure we'll talk about, is that the girls are just so shitty to each other. Like they're all friends, but like they just do terrible things to each other, and they're probably some of the most hilarious things I've like ever seen in this show. Like the one girl has BO and they just like rip on her for BO, and there's like there's one point, I guess, like I think it's the new episode, like they just rip on her more about BO. Like it's just super funny. Like I've never seen characters kind of like written this way where they're just that brutal to each other, but it works and it's super funny.
Yeah. You're right. That's a really interesting parallel between the two of them, is that they are just terrible to each other. And I don't want to pull away from Asobi Asobase too much, but like I just loved in Chio-chan where the one girl's like, "Are you guys even friends? You guys like hate each other," and then they do their stupid dance from
they do like
from fourth grade.
They do like a fusion dance or something.
Yeah, but like it's one that they made up even, and they've like a dumb song to go with it, and
like prove your friendship, and they're like, "We'll do the thing,"
and she's like, "No, not the thing," and I thought they were just gonna like make something up, like it wasn't really a thing that they had, and then it was a thing that they had. So I was just like, yes, this is fantastic. So, all right. Well, let's talk about Asobi Asobase, though. Mm-hmm. So, I really, 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 really love this show.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see a lot of Japanese games that I see, like, I used to see when I worked in a school, played there, in this, like, anime format. Mm-hmm. I think it's just so well done. It's definitely a show for anime people. Like, you need to.
Yeah.
It would not be a show where I'd be like, "No, Mom, anime is art. Look at this show." And then it's like them with a piece of poop, putting it in the sink and playing tag. So. Oh, jeez. Interesting thing about, just a little cultural thing. They're talking about like chasing each other and like all the demons associated with like playing a single person tag. But like the word for tag in Japanese is onigokko, which people might know from the horror movie series Real Onigokko. But onigokko means like to pretend to be an ogre or a demon. So like there's a lot of that kind of stuff where like it's not just tag, it's like in the horror occult community in Japan, onigokko is the thing that's really commonly used. So because of the connotations with the name. So
Sure.
But anyway, I don't know. I think it's just a really great show. I love Maeda. I love all the crazy side characters that come up. I loved how the girl was like, "Oh, she ascended," and they're like, what?" And then, they all actually even bond together when they find out that her friend is sick, and they're like, "No, the occult is real. Let's pray for her." And they do the crazy voodoo doll where it's like all over there. They're just like, "Oh, did you put a pin in her butt?" Like, what? It's just so good.
I think
the whole show.
The one that got me too was, I think it's the Shogi. Is it the Shogi Club or whatever?
Oh, yeah.
They come and they're like, "You didn't put in a form for this room. Like, we're going to take it." And they're like, "Let's play a game." And they fling this shoe. And the one captain, like, launches herself off the stairs and, like, breaks every bone in her body.
Yeah, she uses the bike to, like, try to get additional velocity or whatever.
Like, "You didn't say bikes," and she wins, but she just, like, destroys her body. And they're like, "Oh."
Yeah.
Like, they're like, "Oh, well, now they just met her at home so we can keep the club room."
That was so good.
It's again, these characters are so shitty to each other, and it's just something so funny to see because it's just not what I expected at all, and it's I'll be watching this.
And I feel like explaining this show to people is probably like not funny at all. Like people who have watched the show are probably like, yes, I totally get it. And to anyone who's not watched the show, be like, okay, that sounds ridiculous and stupid. Like, no, you don't understand. Like,
so you just need to watch the show.
Please go watch it.
The other thing that I like is how different the opening and endings are. I think the ending song is probably like one of the best endings like I've heard in a long time. Like,
I love that.
So
that was
good.
like the first thing that I said in Discord after I watched. I was like, dude, this ending song.
It's so good. I found the full version. I'll have to link it. I think I linked it before,
yes,
but
please do.
I found it on YouTube and like I just keep listening to it. Like it's the three voice actors, it's the three main characters, like the three girls. Yeah. And it's just like they got some like metal band like to play the song, and there's like a dude just like screaming metal lyrics. Like it reminds me of Baby Metal a little bit.
I actually thought it was Baby Metal the first time I heard it, and I was like watching the credits really carefully, and I was like, oh no, it's not.
They're definitely riding off that trend, I think, and they've done really well with the song. Like I really really like it. And like the beginning, like the opening song, it makes it seem like it's going to be some like, like Yuri, like, Shoujo Ai show. And it's like, no, it just totally throws you off.
Interesting thing about the show too. So about the opening, is the one that you're watching, does it subtitle the opening?
I don't think so.
See, that's really unfortunate because the opening is masterfully done where, number one, they include little parts of the plot in it. Where they're talking about, like, at the beginning where they're talking about how they met, and the Olivia, she's like, it started with a little lie, and I can't remember the girl with the glasses name, but she's like, didn't have confidence to like talk to other people and that kind of stuff. So it's that part's kind of cool, but they also include a bunch of references to the different hand games in the lyrics. So like it's a really well thought out, really well done opening song in the lyrical sense, as well as it's actually just a good song like I would listen to regularly. So yeah, Asobi Asabase, go watch it or admit that you're dumb to everybody because you don't like it. So let's talk about the other clear winner of this season. I don't care what happens after these episodes. There's no way I'm not going to like this show anymore, which is Chiyo-chan no Tsugakuro. Wow, right?
Yeah, I really like this too. Another show that like just has me laughing. Like every episode I'm like busting out laughing at something.
Yeah, and like when we read the intro for this, I said I'm pretty sure this is gonna be like a Yonkoma manga thing. So I was expecting like kind of like an Aho Girl thing where it's like 4 episodes per episode or something like that, or that it's really short or something. But you know, there's like a clear story that they tell in each episode, and it definitely, I don't know, it avoids like being tropey. You barely even remember like that all of this is happening while she's going to school because it's just so well told.
Yeah.
I thought it was just going to be like a, oh no, I'm late again type thing. But it's so much better. And I was not really sold after the first episode, but I always try to give 4 episodes a go. And at the second episode, I was like, oh my God, this is so funny. I mean, the first episode had like the Assassin's Creed thing where she like jumps off the guy's face, which was pretty funny. But after that, I thought besides that, I thought the first episode was pretty weak. And then once they got into the second episode with the bloody butterfly and stuff like
that,
God.
That is what sold me on the show.
Yeah,
I was losing.
Yeah. Everything after that, like the kabaddi stuff, and I was talking about it, and I feel like it's unfortunate because in one of the later episodes, the kabaddi girl goes missing, and it turns out she's just living in the park, and she thinks it's a mountaintop or something. Yeah,
she's training.
Yeah, but I feel like they make a slam dunk reference in that, and I just feel like it's lost on the younger non-Japanese fan because we don't really talk about slam dunk in the West as much. Not anymore, anyway. It used to be like one of those things that everyone would like try to talk about how OG they are because they like slam dunk, but it doesn't really come up anymore. They'll be like, "Oh, basketball? You mean like Kuroko?" And it's like, no, not like that. But it was just so funny because as soon as they showed her face, I knew what they were going for. I'm like, that's Mitsui. Like, please, you're not going to do that. You're not going to make a slam dunk reference about touching girls, right? No? Okay, you are. Yes, you are.
Ooh.
But it was just so funny, and like, just that whole show makes me laugh. Every episode after the second, I have laughed so uncontrollably hard.
Yeah.
For at least half the episode. Like her using the men's room and trying to get out and spilling the juice or the tea everywhere, and everyone comes in, they're like, "Oh my God."
Oh, this is a mess.
Yeah.
I liked
they're like, sorry ma'am, I'm coming. Whoa, no, okay.
The other two that I really liked were when they help, like, so what I like too is that, like, a lot of the characters that are, like, in these stories are like, oh, this is going to be a one-off character. Like, the delinquent guy and the whole, like, bloody butterfly thing. Oh, God,
yeah.
Like, he comes back and it's like, oh, hey, he's delivering...
It's the newspaper delivery.
Yeah, he's delivering papers. And it's like, oh, man, there's this, like, cranky old guy. Like, everyone in, like, what is it, the Showa era? Like, if you don't deliver their paper on time, they're really mad. So he's, like, delivering to all these, like, angry old people. And he's like, oh, this is the last guy. Like, I need help here. And, like, they launch her up into the balcony, and she shoves the paper in there and gets away. And then her friend is just like super jealous. Like, I love that friend. Like, she just tries anything she can to like bring her down to the level. But that and what was the other one they do? It was the one where I think it was in the first or second episode when she's like climbing and the dude like hops out and he's like brushing his teeth. Like, oh yeah, and like he's about to like spit on her and she's like freaking out.
Oh, that was so good. And oh my God, her Chio trying to sneak up on her friend by like Metal Gear Soliding along the bridge, and then two of them she's like, getting stuck, and her being like, "I'm gonna let you drop."
Yeah, they're so shitty to each other.
Oh, it's so good. I mean, it's just so quality.
Yeah, definitely a good show that I'm surprised with.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's another one. I think it's kind of like a Sobiya Asabase where we're just talking about it, and people that haven't watched it are going to be like, I don't know if it's really as good as they're saying. It doesn't sound that funny, but it is. It's the presentation, the voice acting, and everything together is just so so good. So please go watch it if you haven't.
Yeah, it's good.
So I'm going to take a minute to complain again.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about... I was super pumped for Free, the new installment, whatever it's called.
Dive to the Future.
Yeah, that's it. Because I loved the first two Frees. I talked about it in the preview episode. For the more obvious reasons and for the plot, I thought it was just a really well told story. First Free, it was actually a really serious story about getting older and about like chasing your dreams or giving up on your dreams and that being okay and that kind of stuff. The desperate attempt to feel like a kid right before you become an adult, to do something important, like that kind of stuff. That was really good show, but Free Dive to the Future is fucking terrible. It has no charm at all. It has no good writing at all. It's literally 6 episodes of, we want to talk to our old friend that we totally ditched and broke his heart, but we're going to act like, that's water under the bridge. Let's be friends again. And he's just going to have to accept that. And this other guy shows up and it's like, leave him alone. You guys did him dirty. And they're like, but we want to apologize. And they're like, you don't get to apologize. You were dicks to him.
Yeah. Oh, man.
You left the country without saying anything after promising that you were going to, be a team forever. The next month, you left the country. You didn't even say goodbye. And the other guy just straight up, he's like, I'm done swimming. Sorry, dude. I'm like, that's it. You can't just do that and then be like, oh, but sorry, that was 3 years ago. I'm a different person now. So that itself is not a terrible plotline, but it's just the fact that nothing of import happens in any of the episodes up to episode 6 or 7. Then they have a dramatic showdown with the guy's friend. He's like, if you can beat me, I'll introduce you to him again. And if you can't beat me, you have to promise that you'll never try to talk to him again. And then they're like, all right, we're going to send out our ace who never loses. And then this other guy's like, no guys, let me go. I want to prove I can still swim. And we're like, oh, but our whole ability to talk to this guy again is hinging on this. He's like, I got this. I practiced for a week. And then he loses. But it's of course, it's wow, it felt good to have someone who can keep up with me. But don't talk to the guy anymore. All right, bye. And I was just like, all right, I'm done with this. This is stupid. And it's just really clear fan service bait for a lot of it. It basically is a bad fan fiction that the director found and was like, this'll do. And then just convinced an anime studio to make it. Just a really kind of ham-fisted, well, we can exploit their untold backstory with stuff that we made up now. And then one of the guys is in Australia, and they're just like, yeah, well, he's in Australia. So every once in a while they cut to Australia, and they're like, hey, Rin, how are you doing? And he's like, oh, good. Thanks for asking. Because they actually speak English.
In Australia. Yeah.
Yeah, because, he's in Australia. So, and he grew up in Australia for high school or whatever, so he speaks English. But yeah, it was really bummed me out, because I just was really looking forward to it. I gotta learn to stop having expectations.
Yeah.
So I'm really scared because, in October, I think it is, the latest, Monogatari series show is coming out, and I love everything Monogatari. So
I have to catch up on that. Yeah,
please do. We'll talk about it later, but I want to do a show just on Monogatari.
There is a lot of that show.
Yeah. You can have a podcast just about Monogatari stuff. I think if you tried.
I think, yeah.
But any other ones that you were like super good surprised about or bad surprised about?
I'm skipping through. I mean, not really good or bad surprise. It's just stuff that I'm still just kind of watching, I guess.
Yeah, lots of mediocre. Like,
I mean, it's not really.
I like it enough to go, but whatever.
Yeah, exactly. It's more of that stuff. Like I just watch it, in between the shows that I want to watch.
Yeah.
But those two shows I think I mentioned before, where I'm watching the Josh and Chen Dropkick and
yes,
and Yuragi So no Unisen, the Hot Spring show. Which I mean, both those shows, they're absolute trash. Both of those shows, like they're just so stupid, but they're not so terrible that they're unpleasant to watch. I guess it's just like, okay, like I just want a mindless, silly show to watch in the meantime, and both of those shows definitely have their place. What I think is weird is that the Josh and Chen show, it starts like from what I've seen, there's 4 volumes of the manga right now that's translated. The show starts like somewhere in the 4th volume, so there's no like introduction for the show. Like if you didn't read the manga, I don't think you're not really gonna be familiar with what's going on. Even though like it seems like what they do is they just cram everything in the opening song. Like they cram the plot up until the 4th volume into the opening. And it's just, I mean, it's not super complicated, but yeah, it's like, I've read people compare it to like, they say it's trying to be like that one show. There's that one show with the angel who like has a club and like beats the hell out of the one guy. Like, and it's super violent. Like I want to say it's like, I don't even know, but it's like a cross between that and like, Kobayashi, the dragon maid. They're like, they're trying to be both these shows, but like, they're trying to like, I don't know. But it's just like super like Moe Blob, like really goofy stuff. Joshin is like a super ignorant, like just terrible person. So it's like basically every episode is her being a total idiot, like just a jerk, and then like getting punished for it. So it's kind of funny. It's not like a super amazing show or anything like that, but I think because, like I said, I was reading the manga, and the manga is actually kind of funny. So the show kind of is like a decent adaptation, but it's not anything to write home about or anything. And then the Hot Spring show, basically, I think we talked about this before. It's basically like To Love Ru, except it's like a ghost in a hot spring resort. Right. Just total ecchi trash. But again, it's been humorous enough that I'm just like, okay, like I'll watch this while I'm waiting for something else. But, not really, there's no other standouts, at least from my end here this season.
Yeah, me too, for the most part. Just kind of like watching stuff, but not super interested in most of it, but enough to keep going.
Yeah.
I actually ended up watching all of Koi wa Amiagari no Yoni, which you had recommended to me a while ago. But that kind of like sums up my feelings on this season. It's like, okay, I watched Banana Fish, and then I watched Asobi Asobase and Chio. I guess I'll watch this anime from 2 seasons ago now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, oh well. All right. Well, it sounds like a good place to cut things off. So thank you as always for listening. You can, if you want to hear the rest of our shows where we talk about other stuff, you can check us out at Aniki Nikki on Podbean or iTunes, and now on YouTube.
Ooh,
wow.
Whoa.
Yeah. We're also on Twitter and Facebook at Aniki Nikki Pod. Or if you Google search Aniki Nikki, it actually comes up now, which is kind of cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we're moving up in the world.
Yeah.
We got people from Bangladesh trying to promote our podcast for money now. So, true story. Just happened yesterday. You can email us at anikiniki@gmail.com, and we've got some good shows coming up, so why don't you subscribe on one of those things so it automatically downloads episodes for you. That would be neat, right?
Yeah.
Alright, well thanks, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.